What a result for Chelsea. We've just won 6-0 against Everton at Stamford Bridge. Where the hell did that come from? We've had 7 games in a row where we've conceded 2 goals or more. We've had so many results where it's been up and down, touch and go. We've won games, but we haven't really been good enough. And yet tonight at Stamford Bridge, under the lights, we've managed to pull out an unbelievable result. Probably the biggest win of the season, let's just take it like that. And also, maybe a turning point. Nah, I'm joking. How many times have we said that this entire season? But what a performance it was. Let's get into it straight away and talk about the main man. The main man for us, not just tonight, but for the entire season. Where would we be without this guy, Cole Palmer? I have to say, you must acknowledge soon that this is one of the best transfers that has happened basically in Premier League history. Yeah, fuck it, let's just say that. Unbelievable player. He scored a perfect hat-trick in the first half, and that wasn't enough. He had to go and score that penalty in the second half. 4 goals for him tonight. You have to say, there's something a little bit scary about this in a weird way, isn't there? I saw a stat before the game. It was 51% of our goals this season have been scored by Cole Palmer. And that's scary because imagine if he gets injured. Imagine if he gets sold. The board and the management said every player is potentially up for sale. Imagine if we don't go into next season with him. Oh, I mean, come on. Let's not think about that. Don't worry about that. Cole Palmer will be here at the start of next season. But I have to say, he's worth his weight in gold. £45 million for a player of his quality. It's just unbelievable. And the other thing that we have to talk about now is that he is in the running for the top goal scorer, the golden boot of the Premier League. It's just insane. Like, imagine the odds on that before the start of the season. Someone tell me in the comments, please, about those stats. Someone give me an odds before the season what Cole Palmer was for the top goal scorer, because I wish I'd put some money on it because I'd be a very rich man. I have to say, we've got so lucky with this guy, and I don't know if Pochettino has improved him or whether he has just been this good the whole time, but Pep Guardiola must be absolutely sitting there in his living room watching the game tonight feeling physically ill, because this guy is just so good. And it's funny, isn't it? I think I look on SofaScore, and by the way, there's a link in the description if you want to download SofaScore. It's where I get all my stats from. I had a look on there, and basically they give a rating system for players every week, and I'll show the ratings from today. Unsurprisingly, Cole Palmer gets a 10 out of 10, a perfect score, but it isn't the first time he's got a perfect score this season. This guy, don't know how he does it, but just week in, week out, just unbelievable performances. And then, you go in and you check all of his stats from this season, and they're just scary. They're just absolutely scary. 20 goals for the season and 9 assists as well. He scores a goal every 104 minutes, playing as a right winger. He's not even our centre forward, guys. And he's up there, level now with Erling Haaland, probably one of the best strikers in a generation, even if Roy Keane thinks he's a League 2 talent. You've just got to say, we've lucked out so much for it, and I think you have to give some credit to the boys that are in the recruitment network, and in particular Joe Shields, the bald maestro, the transfer expert, the guy that I would entrust my life with. This guy, he has pulled together some unbelievable young players to come into Chelsea. Give him a lifelong contract. Give him all the money that he wants in the summer. Fuck FFP and PSR. Let him spend whatever he wants, because this guy is an expert. Yes, he's worked with Lavia before. Yes, he's worked with Cole Palmer before. I don't care. He's seen them. He knows how good they are. What a legend. And what a legend for finding Cole Palmer. Signing of the summer, absolutely. And again, just imperious in this game. The way that he nuts the player for the first goal, he just pulls his pants down. He just makes him look like an absolute schoolboy. And that's what the best players in the world do. And I have to say, if he doesn't get in the England squad, what a travesty that would be. I mean, we, as I say, would be nothing without him. And I think you do just have to sort of throw your hands up. Who else can we really talk about in this game tonight other than Cole Palmer? Just unbelievable to get that perfect hat-trick. Just stop it. I want to talk about this guy all day, but we can't just talk about him. We have to carry on and keep the train going. Let's move on to Nicolas Jackson, another player and that has basically been called out, right, week in, week out. And I was involved in a little recording today at the kickoff where we're talking about transfer flops of the season. And some of the boys on that said that Nicolas Jackson was one of the flops of the season. Are you mad? This guy yes, he makes mistakes. He misses a few sitters here and there. He misses a few one-on-ones. But he's all right, isn't he? And for £30 million, I think he's been a pretty good signing. With investment in the summer, maybe he won't play a lot next season. But overall, he's been absolutely fine. And it was interesting, wasn't it? We have to talk about this very, very quickly. The penalty issue. There was a moment around the penalty spot where some of the players are arguing. Jackson was one of those players. Probably one of those reasons why I am giving him a little bit of a bad mark in that regard. Because overall, I thought he was very good. But it was him and Noni Madueke who wanted the penalty for themselves. They want to boost their own numbers, get a few goals and stats for their own stats padding. But Cole Palmer ultimately stepped up and took the penalty. And I'm glad he did because he's got an unbelievable record. But there's two sides of this, isn't there? We have to talk about this. First side, negative. Yeah, fair enough. The boys have overstepped the mark. Pochettino, again, hasn't set a clear penalty taker. And these boys are squabbling in between each other. But the positive is, I kind of rate it in a weird way, that they want the penalties. They want to score goals. They are individually motivated as much as they are a team. And so there's always two ways of looking at this. I think ultimately it will be seen very negative, but who cares? We can't worry about too much negativity. We've just won 6-0. It's an unbelievable performance. I think some of the boys have outshone themselves immensely today. And basically we go into the game tonight. And yes, Everton aren't the best team in the world, but look, they aren't awful either. They would be comfortably mid-table. And coming off a season where they haven't really conceded that many goals, to concede 6 in one game against us, it really does show that we were clinical tonight and we buried our chances. And so I think you have to give some credit to that. I'll tell you what else we have to give some credit for, right? I mentioned it very briefly at the start of the video. And by the way, if you aren't subscribed to the channel. We're going to be talking loads more about Chelsea. We've got a huge game coming up against Man City, which I can't wait to talk about next weekend. Get ready for that. Strap that in. Get ready. Hit the notification bell. There'll be some more videos dropping all about that. But we can't forget the clean sheet in this game. We've conceded so many goals this season. So many goals in recent games. It got me questioning everything. It got me questioning Petrovic. It got me questioning the wing backs. It got me questioning the centre-back pairings. In fact, I've done a whole video on it with my boy Connor on the channel. Make sure you check that out. It was the latest video that we did together. And you have to say, they shut us up tonight. I mean, look, Everton aren't the most attacking, and they aren't really the best strikers at all. Beto, so underwhelming. Calvert-Lewin can't get on the pitch. So you could say, yeah, fair enough. That's kind of what you expect, really, against a team like this. You don't really want to be conceding goals. But it's a really good indictment and a really good sort of looking forward now to say for the rest of the season, let's try and concede a few less goals. Obviously, City coming up is not going to be an easy game. Imagine if we do keep a clean sheet in that game. And there were shouts and chants for Thiago Silva, and what a career this guy's had, and he absolutely deserves every single one of those chants. But I'll tell you who else deserves it, is Trev. A guy that basically was out the door. A guy that the board obviously don't want. They don't want him in and around the team at all. He is probably going to be going in the summer. He probably knows that he's going in the summer. And yet still putting out very solid performances. Way above some of our other players. And he does make Disasi and Badiashile look like they are, a second string below him. They really, really do. So those two boys, very, very good performance. And they're going to get a real test now if they do continue. And they absolutely deserve to continue being a centre-back pairing. And maybe the trick to all of this is now having a bit of continuity between these boys. And I really hope they do stick together. So hopefully they will. But congrats to both of those. Congrats to Petrovic and actually to Cucurella and Gusto as well. Very good unit. Understandably, not the most amazing achievement. We shouldn't shout it too loudly because Everton don't really score goals. But to get a clean sheet, it was a very, very good performance from the boys. Now, the last thing that we have to talk about is Alfie Gilchrist. I mean, what a moment for him. He's a young kid, absolute teenager. He's been playing through every level of the academy. He's a lifelong Chelsea fan, a boyhood Chelsea fan. And he scores a goal at the shed end, does a beautiful celebration. What a moment for him. And you know what, in a weird way, it's what we all dream about, moments like that. We've all had moments where we've wanted to score that goal and celebrate in the way that he did. And I have to say, he's showing himself and covering himself in a loads of glory at the moment. Coming on, making excellent tackles, shutting games down when he does play. and he signed his new deal, and I really, really hope he does have a wonderful career at Chelsea. Hopefully next season he gets a loan, gets to play in the Championship or at the lower end of the Premier League, and we'll see what he's really about there, and see if he can develop even more than what he is doing at the moment. But I have to say, I'm just so happy for Alfie, and you have to say, there is one of those things where you just love to see academy boys in the team. Connor's doing it for us, representing the boys. Trev, unbelievable performance as well, and then to see Alfie involved was absolutely brilliant. So do you know what? There's so many positives from this game today, and I could carry on going, and there were other players that I thought had really good games. Madueke, again, really sick of him with the penalty stuff, but overall looked really good. Don't think it was Mudrik's game, and I think you have to put your hands up and sort of just say, in moments like that when he isn't playing that well, you have to say that he wasn't playing immensely well. But all around the pitch, really, there was some quality today, and I have to say, didn't see this one coming. I predicted a draw, and I think the boys absolutely outdid themselves tonight, and what a performance it is. And I have to say, going now into that game against Man City, we do have a bit of momentum, and obviously City now are still fighting for the Champions League. They've got that massive game against Real Madrid, and they're still fighting for the title, arguably in pole position for that title. And so what is an FA Cup? I mean, maybe they can just do us a favour here and sort of sack it off, play the B team, and let us go through to a very well-deserved final. And I have to say, where does that leave Pochettino's legacy? Where does that rate his performance if we do manage to beat Man City, which is still a big ask, but just humour me for a second. If we beat them, make it to another final, 2 finals in the same season, we are upwardly mobile in the Premier League as well. You've just got to look at it and say, he's doing a decent job. And let's talk about the Premier League for a second, shall we? Before we go, Joey and I did a prediction video that was looking at the fixtures that we've got coming up and having a look at how we would potentially perform and where we would finish in the league. Now, we were slightly bullish in that video, and we said that we could finish in 8th. Now, maybe that isn't bullish enough. Maybe we do need to start being a little bit more confident, because I'm looking at the table now. Chelsea in 9th still, 31 games, I should say, with 47 points. West Ham in 8th, 33 on 48. Manchester United next in 7th place, 32 games with 50 points, and Newcastle the same, but with a very favourable goal difference against Man United. You have to look at that now, and to say we're only 1 game behind Man United. If we win that game in hand, we've got a considerable goal difference advantage over them. So is it on? Is 7th place doable? And with the coefficients, it might mean that we need to get 7th place. Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to see what you guys think, whether we can make it into as high as 7th place. And also, if we do that, and we do get through to that second final, is that actually a half decent season for Pochettino? And is that the end of the toxic positivity? Because overall, things are looking all right. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, check out my website, my streetwear brand, Aveste, the home of independent streetwear. There's some quality clothes in there that you haven't already checked out. Have a look at that website. It will be linked in the description. It supports me, and I'm hugely grateful to anyone that checks out that site. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. We're going to be talking loads more about Chelsea. I can't wait to talk about the Man City game this weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Come on, Chelsea.